Hey guys, Michał here. If you are planning your next holiday on Rhodes Island and would like to visit its capital, but don't have much time to explore, then this video is for you. I invite you to one day in Rhodes Town. If you are staying in a place other than Rhodes Town, the best way to get to the city is by rented car or bus. Remember that in high season you may have problems with renting a car and parking, so the bus may be a better option. We'll start our tour from Mandraki Harbour, which is right next to the bus stop. Take your first steps towards the windmills of Mandraki. These are three medieval windmills that were once used to grind grain delivered to the port by ships. Further on, Rhodes leads to the fort of St. Nicholas, which now serves as a lighthouse. Watch out for local cats. There are quite a few of them and you can trip over them. At end of the road is one of the two monuments that stood on the site of the legendary Colossus of Rhodes. These are a deer and a doe, symbols of the island of Rhodes. To get a closer look at the second monument, we have to walk around the entire Mandraki Harbour. This is now a luxury yacht marina and the central cruise port of Rhodes Town. Every day, cruise ships and yachts depart from here to sail to Simi Island, Lindos, and for diving adventures. Walking further, we find the Fontana Grande, a replica of an Italian fountain from the city of Viterbo. Behind the fountain is the Church of Annunciation of the Virgin Mary, the most famous church on the island, now an Orthodox cathedral. Right next to it is the second of monuments I mentioned before. On this side of the harbour stands a stag named Ialyssos. The doe on the other side of the harbour is Elafina. We are in the old Italian quarter, the so-called New Town, which was mostly built in the early 20th century during the Italian rule of the island. Heading further along the sea, you will reach the casino, which is one of the town's landmarks. Walking north, you will reach the sea aquarium and the most advanced headlands of the island, which separates the Aegean Sea from the Mediterranean Sea. From my own experience, I can say that the western side is always windy and a bit cooler than the eastern side. The beaches are also different. One side is rocky and the other sandy. The highlight of the trip should be the old town of Rhodes, which we'll reach by going southeast along the Mandraki Harbour. There are a total of 11 gates to the old town, but it's the best to start by entering through the Liberty Gate, which is surrounded by the most characteristic Greek bougainvillea and palm trees, with one of the main streets running through the middle. Passing through the gate, the first thing you will see is the remains of the ancient temple of Aphrodite and Athena. Walking further along the path into the old town, you will reach the crossroads when the entrance to the Archaeological Museum and the Streets of the Knights is located. The entrance to the Archaeological Museum is paid, and I recommend buying a combined ticket which entitles you to enter also to the Palace of the Grand Master of Knights of the Rhodes and the nearby church. The Archaeological Museum is located in the medieval hospital of the Knights Hospitaller Order of St. John, and the rooms where the kitchen and dining rooms were located have been arranged as museum exhibition halls. The first exhibit we can admire after passing through the entrance gate to the courtyard is a Hellenistic marble lion, which holds the head of the bull in its paws. Beneath the sculpture is a fragment of a floor mosaic. In the museum, apart from colorful mosaics, we can admire ancient vessels, vases, and amphoras painted in the way typical of Greece. A large part of exhibits come from the abandoned and very well preserved town of Kamiros and Ialyssos, both located on the island of Rhodes, as well as other Dodecanese islands. The grounds of the museum are very large and every room hides new finds, so it's worth taking some time to get lost in the tangle of corridors and the building surrounded by small gardens. If you have finished visiting the museum, or if you don't like this type of attractions, go now to the previously mentioned Street of the Knights, Odos Ippoton, which in the Middle Age was the most important street of the city. Here you will find medieval pavement and original medieval buildings. The Order of Knights of the Hospital of St. John brought together knights from different countries, so each building on this street was named after the nationality of its inhabitants. One of the buildings is the Holy Trinity Church, with a statue of the Virgin and Child on its facades. Reaching the end of Street of the Knights, you will reach the Palace of the Grand Master of the Knights of Rhodes. Let's stop for a moment to admire the beauty of the palace courtyard. If you have already bought a combined ticket, you can enter the palace or buy a new one at the ticket office. In the main courtyard, we are greeted by statues of Roman dignitaries, and when entering the castle, we can see huge stairs leading to the first floor. Visiting the castle, we go from the hall to the hall decorated with medieval furnitures and accessories, as well as multicolored floor mosaics brought from the island of Kos. A big attraction is a sculpture Laocoon Group, exhibited in one of the rooms, but it's only a plaster cast and the original is in the Vatican. After visiting the palace, one of the must-see and not to be missed points in the tour should be the old town walls. There is no need to postpone this sightseeing point until the end of the day, as the entrance to the city walls is only open until 3 p.m. Entry is free. From the top we can admire the buildings and the tangle of narrow streets of the old town. In the distance you can also see the sea. On a hot day it's better to have a hat and a bottle of water. After walking around almost entire old town, we will leave near the new Akandia Gate, where is the wharf stopping for a while in the former Jewish quarter. There are the ruins of the Church of the Virgin Mary and the gate of the same name, which has a beautiful view of the sea. This time we will walk a similar road along the city walls, but through a dry moat. Along the whole dry moat we will find a road with the theater and cannonballs stacked into the stone walls. The road along the city walls will take about 30 minutes and we will reach the Freedom Gate. At this point, it's best to go near the Palace of the Grand Master to reach the beginning of the main shopping street of the old town, Socrates Street. At the beginning of this road, we pass the clock tower and the Suleiman Mosque. Walking further down the street, we will pass a lot of stalls and shops selling all kinds of souvenirs, from the most famous Rhodian product, Melekuni bars, local honey, olive oil, pickled olives, spices, olive wood, magnets, clothing and jewelry. At the end of the street is Hippocrates Square with a large number of restaurants. Apart from what I have mentioned so far, Rhodes Old Town is full of remains of ancient times. The best way to discover them is to get lost in the maze of narrow street. You can walk around endlessly and discover something new at every turn. Another noteworthy street is Agiu Fanouriu, where local artists have small studios, some of them have been in business for years. Despite the fact that it's the historic part of the town, Rhodes residents have their homes here. The streets of the old town will also appeal to the cat lovers who can be found here at every turn, so it's worth having cat threads in your pocket. I think that the above mentioned places are enough to fill your whole day of sightseeing. I hope you liked this video. If so, you can leave a thumb up. If you have any suggestions, please write a comment down below. See you on the next adventure.